So this is my new e-bike. I picked it up last week. So this is a Salsa Tributary GRX-600. So it's got the Shimano GRX 1x11 drivetrain, and then down here it's got the Bosch CX Performance Line speed motor. So I figured I would get this one. Some of the reasons were it had the larger battery, 625 watt hour, and then it also had the range extender option. It's the newest Bosch motor in there. I think they call it their smart system or something like that. So you can plug in a 250 watt hour range extender battery. Yeah, so here's the other side. So you can see you've got the Bosch speed motor. So I believe that's around 600 watt peak, 250 watt average power. I think they call it their power tube battery in there, 625 watt hours. And then this one, you have to charge the battery in the bike. You can take the battery out, but you've got to pull the motor out, and then the battery comes out the bottom. So it's removable for service, as they say, but it's not removable for charging. So yeah, you plug in there to charge, and then likewise, if you get the range extender, that plugs in there as well. And then you've got two batteries. I had them put on the new Shimano. I think these are the EH500 pedals. So these are very similar to what I have on my Monster Cross bike, except they are already pre-drilled for pins. So yeah, we've got the pedals on there, so I can use my same shoes and cleats. And then this has the GRX hydraulic discs on there. It also has a Trans-X dropper post. I believe it's a 100 millimeter dropper. And you've got the control for that right here. Yeah, so yeah, you've got your main control. I think they call this the system controller. So you just hit the button there. It boots up, shows you the battery charge. Right now I'm at 80%. I've done about 20 miles of riding so far and used 20% of the battery. So that'll probably meet or exceed their range estimate. They estimate in eco mode that you've got 72 miles, 120 kilometers, I think. So it might actually do a little bit more than 72 in eco mode. And you can either bump the setting up there, or it's also got the little mini remote here. It's probably kind of hard to read with the glare, but it also has the Intuvia 100 display. So the remote and the display are all wireless, and you pair them up with the motor, and then they all talk to each other. So yeah, I've got a couple of things on order. One is I've got the stem cap that's got the Intuvia mount, so I can move this over onto the top of the stem. So that's coming from the UK. And then I've got a light coming from Lezyne, which will mount over here in front and then plug into the front light power plug in the motor. And then likewise, I've got a tail light coming that's going to mount in back here. I'm waiting for the Salsa rack lock. So it's a seat post clamp that's got a boss in the back for mounting your rack. So I'll have a rack coming off of here, and then I've made a couple of custom brackets here to sit on the frame and mount the rack there. It's a Topeak Explorer rack, and then on the back of the rack will be the tail light that also plugs in to the motor. So the main reason I wanted to get an e-bike like this, so this is a drop bar kind of adventure or gravel bike setup. Actually set up for quite large tires. I think you can go up to 29 by 2.6. These are 2.3. I'm probably going to drop it down to about a 2-inch or 50 millimeter tire when I wear these out. The main reason I wanted to get a bike like this is to do longer rides that involve a lot more pavement. I've done some rides in the past where I've ridden about 30 miles south of here, and then about 10 miles to the east, and then about 30 miles back. So you end up doing about 70 miles, and I can do that sort of ride But if I do that, I can only do the loop. Since then, they've opened up a couple of county parks in the area where there are mountain bike trails. And so that's why I was thinking if I could ride down there and shave off an hour or two on the ride, because I can go faster on this bike, and that'll give me an hour or two to ride the trails down there as well as ride down and ride back. So that's the kind of riding I've wanted to do, was to get into those farther away rides, but to have a drop bar bike that would be comfortable on a long ride. You get the e-bike pedal assistance, and then I'll have the full rack here on the back with a large trunk bag, and then I can also bring the range extender battery as well, and I could do longer rides. Yeah, so a lot of setup to do. It's amazing how much stuff you have to add on to make it a usable bike for long distance riding. Yeah, so I did take my other bike out last weekend after riding this, and I was a little bit worried that my old bike would just feel terribly sluggish and like unrideable compared to this thing. But it's like it was just the opposite. What I found is the pedal assist doesn't make it any easier to ride. You still put in the same effort, you've got the same heart rate, you've got the same respiration rate, you sweat just as much. It's just that you go faster. Like my ride down a local trail here is into about a 20-mile-an-hour headwind. If I'm riding with no pedal assist or on my other bike, you can do about 10 or 12 mile an hour into that headwind. If you flip on the power assist here, you can do 15, 16. The same work, you're pedaling just as hard, it's just you're going now 15 or 16 miles an hour instead of 10 or 12. That's basically what I wanted, was something to just get me down the trail or into the headwind faster. Anyway, I thought I'd show you the new bike, and we'll be doing some upgrades on this over the next probably month or so as I try to get it all dialed in and ready. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, post up in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.